Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to our next snippet. So we've done snippet 89 and we've done snippet 90. So I'm going to do snippet 91. Now the snippets are a snippet of an idea. Sometimes you might finish the whole thing, sometimes you might not, but it's just a snippet of an idea. You don't necessarily finish everything. But, or I don't, I'm using stamp set TE4 New Beginnings, and I'm using my black ink, my Nocturne ink, and we're just going to add a piece of copier paper underneath. That way I don't get in too much of a mess on my non-stick craft sheet. Now, even though you're doing a snippet, just make sure you give that ink plenty of time to absorb onto the surface of your card. So I'm using a piece of Pink Frog Super Smooth card, 300 GSM, and it is 4 by 6 inches. We always use 4 by 6 inches for the snippets. So then I'm going to place this way, I think, like so. And I've had to do a little bit of prep because there's colouring in this, and because there's colouring I can't do all the colouring during the video because obviously it'll be quite a long video then, because it's up to you how long you take or whether you use water mediums, water reactive mediums to colour, which is obviously a lot quicker. And then I'm going to take the stamp again and ink with the Nocturne ink, like so. And then I'm going to add this one sort of around about there. And the one I've prepped obviously might not be quite exactly the same, because when you come to stamp, you stamp in different positions. It's just what happens. So you can see I'm avoiding using a mask because I want some of those open white areas so that pops a little bit. You want it to pop, and sort of turn your floral slightly so that you've got it in different positions. It's just more aesthetically pleasing. And you can see I'm doing lots of tapping motions. I'm not sort of scrimping on that ink. Just going to add part of the flower here, just on the side. So you can see I'm not scrimping on using the black ink. So I'm going to, and I ink the whole flower because you never know quite which part of the flower you're going to use. So it's easier to ink the whole thing rather than just part of the floral. I'm then going to put part of that floral just there, like so. And you can see I'm just creating a background with the TE4 floral. Lots of tapping motion, don't scrimp on what you're using. So let's add sort of there. So I'm just creating a background with that floral. And obviously I'm giving you a snippet of an idea that you could then take further if you wish. So I'm going to ink again. I'm inking the whole thing. It's just so much easier. So it's just so much easier. So then I'm going to put part of that here. So we've just got part of the floral. And even when you're doing part of the floral, just make sure you give that a little bit of time. And then a little bit, maybe a bit of the floral there. So I'm just adding little touches of what as well, here and there around the edge. So let's just move this out of the way and move the copier paper so you can actually see what we have. And you can use the copier paper just to blot that a little bit, just so that we don't smudge. And then what I'm going to do is use my circular piece. So I'll just check which circle I use. So this one. So I'm going to use the circular piece here. This is about 2 1/4, 2 3/4. Doesn't really matter because it's just the circle. And what I'm going to do is draw around this circle with my micron pen. And then here, I'm not going through the floral. I'm just, I need to pick that up because I can't tell which. There we go. So I'm not sort of drawing lines through the floral. I'm coming up to each petal so that I've got a circle, just so that you can see this. I've then got a circle around there that doesn't go through the floral. I'm then going to add one up here, like so. And then, is that the right one? Yeah. So a smaller circle through here, so that you've got a smaller circle. You can put the circles wherever you wish. And then I'm going to put a little tiny circle, probably a 1-inch circle, maybe around here. Like so. So you've got little circles. And then what I want you to do is I'm going to take Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, place this back over the circle, and then you can just add a little bit of shading over your circle. So just add a little bit of shading just over the circle. And I want you to do that with each circle. So just go over. Now don't forget, I've done a little bit of prep. So just over that circle there, and then over the, so this is Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. Just so you can see, that just highlights it a little bit more so that I can see. Now what I'm going to do is show you how I coloured the first one, and then I'm going to move to the one I've prepped with all of the colour smoothed out. I've then used Tuscan Red PC937 as my dark colour, Crimson Red as my mid colour 924, and Pale Vermilion 921 as my pale colour. Now what I want you to do is colour your floral. I'm just going to do one petal because you can see how I've coloured the one petal. So I go with the Tuscan, the darker colour, Tuscan Red, then come into the mid colour, and you're doing this on all the florals. Come into the Crimson Red, and then to your Pale Vermilion. And obviously you do this on the petals that are in the circles only. So the petals that are inside the circles only. You'll see it when I bring in my other card. So I'm going to go back in with a second layer of colour. Then come in with my red, and as you come in with the red, go in to your dark colour. Now don't press too hard too soon, because you'll have nowhere to go. And then your orange. And that's what I want you to do. And I'm going to bring in my other card where they're coloured. Can you see? They're all coloured, just so that you can see how I've done that. Now on here, I've missed a little area, so we can colour that in. Again, just exactly the same with the dark colour, then the medium colour. So then the medium colour, and then the orange. And what happens is, as you add more and more layers, the orange becomes sort of the highlight. Can you see the highlight? It becomes the highlight. So just add that, and then the orange. So just add the orange. Like so. And there's somebody at the door and nobody's going. Oh, they are. So then you're just going to add a little bit more of that. Take a little bit of your red. So just add those layers nice and softly. Don't go in too quickly. So what you've got now is you've got how it starts from this and you end up with this as you colour the areas, spotlighting. So then the only thing you need to do then is add a few dots. You need to sort of bring out that centre area, so add quite a few dots like so, just because that will just highlight and just brings it to life a little bit more. So just here, and then just lightly add a few sort of touches of white. Again, you can use your oxides to colour with if you wish. You don't have to use what I've used. And just bring this in like so. Maybe just a few light touches here. So just bringing in a little touch of white, just so that it comes to life a little bit more. I always think it's worth it, just adding some little finishing touches. You still want your snippets to be lovely, don't you? You don't want them to just not, you know, stand out. So you can see it really works nicely. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shading. Let's grab my little brush. Just add a little bit of shading. So I'm just going to go around the circle just to blend that out a little bit more. There we go. Round. So I'm using an Inktense pencil. It's called Chinese Ink 2030. Just blend that out to nothing, just so that your circles then stand out a little bit more. So you're doing those spotlights and they stand out a little bit more. So the Inktense pencil is actually called Chinese ink 2030, I'm sure it is. Just going around, and because I'm using that pink frog card, it works really nicely. Now what I'd suggest is go around again and make it a little bit darker. That way your spotlight will stand out even more. And that's why you had these open spaces, just so that you've got somewhere to highlight them a little bit more. And they really stand out now, don't they? Isn't that just beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. And because they're snippets doesn't mean they don't have to be, you know, lovely quality. So then I'm going to add some splatters of that white. And I love it because, you know, you go back to your stamps and you keep using them. So I'm then going to use Each Day is a Treasure on this stamp set. Let me find, which one is it? It'll be the one that's dropped off. So is that in the packaging? Oh, you can't make this up. The one I want is fallen off. It's here. There we go. That's why you clean the back of your stamp, because it won't then keep falling off. Take my black ink, just add my sentiment, which is so true. You don't need to press too hard. Let's just cut that out. I always use the bigger scissors to cut my sentiment out, so I can add Each Day is a Treasure. So it's entirely up to you where you add that. So I think I'm going to add it there so it doesn't hide some of the colour, because I'm quite chuffed with the colour. Makes me happy. So I'm just going to add that here. Each day is a treasure. Isn't that the truth? And then just add a little bit more shading just around there. Just underneath, just so that that's got a little bit more depth. And let's bring in our book. So we've got Snippet 90, and if we bring in Snippet 91, look how that pops against that background. Isn't it beautiful? So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed our next snippet. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.